Hey guys, Clumsy here, and welcome back to ETS2. We are now in the last leg of our trip. It's been a very long drive actually, and I'm excited to finally finish it this episode. We've had the stream last week to start things off, and then we went I think we started in France somewhere, ended in Hamburg, and then from Hamburg we moved over northeast. So from Hamburg to Linköping, and from there onwards to Turku in the silent trucking video that you guys might have seen already. And now it's the last leg towards Varkaus. So 452 kilometers. Let's do it. And in the near future, I'll share more about that. But I'm planning to do more of the long hauls and multiple episode things. Let me know if you are into that kind of deal as well, because there's something really fulfilling about finishing a long haul, and I don't normally do it. I don't do it often enough, but I think I should, because it really is quite an achievement. You know, there is that additional challenge that you have to keep your trailer intact, maintain the integrity. Let's have a look how's our trailer doing at the moment. Okay, 6% on the trailer. Goodness. Can't even remember what we did there. Maybe it's just the tires, hopefully. But the cargo isn't damaged, so I'm hoping we didn't do any lasting damage in there. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Is that what they say? And I decided not to sleep. Decided to drive in the middle of the night because I am loving the view here. This perfect sunrise feels. I love it. So this must be how the countries up north feel like, especially during summer, because I haven't changed the weather yet. This is still summer. This is autumn trees with summer climate, I think. So if you look at the temperature, it's still 20 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it's a bit cheaty, but I like it better because I don't like the autumn or winter time of day where the sun sets earlier, sun rises later. You know, more night. I like more day. I'm a morning kind of person, so I like it when there's the sun. I like the feeling of it. Ooh, look at that car, fancy. Anyway, hope you guys are doing good. So the plan for this episode is to share some updates I've seen in the forums, any new mods I may have encountered, and look at that. That's a new trailer I've seen, and it seems like something from Traffic Maniac, probably. Is that this guy pass, or maybe not? Okay, he's stopping in the middle of the road. Thank you. Alright, let's proceed. So some updates from the modding point of view. A couple of new things have released. Sogard 3, you might have seen the low deck mod from him already for the Renault Range T, but now it's in version 1.1, and it comes with some additional config options for the fuel tanks, where you can customize where the AdBlue tank is, and a couple of other options. I think he also added a spoiler, raised spoiler for the sleeper variant, the smaller cab variant for this Renault Range T. Please don't hit anything. And that's what we're getting into for sure. So after this job, I will be buying a new Renault Range T most probably, but with a different config option, with a smaller type, the sleeper variant, but with the low deck chassis, and with that super raised spoiler. I love those kinds of setups, combined with a Krona Megaliner, also from Sogard 3. It's going to be the real deal. And I'll be recording that config session and I'll be sharing it to my patrons, because the patrons and Twitch subs, the guys who are supporting me directly, they are interested in behind the scenes, or I'd like to think they are interested in behind the scenes. So I like to share some of that stuff every now and then. So if you are feeling like it, feel free to join us over there. if you are willing to subscribe via Twitch, if you have like an extra Twitch Prime subscription available, or if you have $5 to spare on Twitch, or if you like $3 to spare on Patreon, then you are eligible for that benefit. But no pressure. Your presence is more than enough, and your constant presence and interaction is amazing enough. All the financial support is icing on the cake, we could put it. A really nice icing on the cake, that is. Because it allows me to explore and get better gear, get better mods, have access to the paid mods so I can show you guys. So it's a win for everybody. Anyway, so yes, that's the plan. And with that low deck variant, I will be planning to do the very long hauls, like, I don't know, end to end, Iceland to Romania or something. I don't know. We'll see. If you have any ideas for a very long haul, let me know. Because as I mentioned in the last episode, I am going to Warsaw week of October 14, so I'll be out. So that means I have to record something in advance. And I think a good advanced recording session will be something where I go on a long trip and I just continuously record and finish that long trip in a couple of episodes. So that might be something that you guys will enjoy. What else? Other updates I've seen, Lean has now a rendition of the Renault Range T sounds. If you guys are still looking for a sound mod because you absolutely cannot live with the default SES sounds like I cannot, like some of us cannot, then you have a couple of options I showed in the must-have mods. You can either go with Abbas Strepas's version, you can go with EVR's temporary version, or now you can also go with Lean's version. I heard that Lean's version is quite nice. Depends on your taste, but it's a good option to check out. Definitely better than the default sounds in my opinion. But yeah, all our ears and tastes are different, so your mileage may vary. What else have I seen? There is an interesting topic going on right now in the SES forums, and I want to test it for myself. But I am inclined to believe them, and I'd like to get your inputs on this, guys, as well. If you are more on the techie side, or if you're willing to test it with me, then you're more than welcome to, and then you can post your results in the comments. Because there's a thread in the SES forums where someone, sorry I forgot the names who have been involved. There is someone who has been testing doing jobs using the freight market versus doing jobs in the cargo market using his own trailer. And what he found out, and this is very interesting, what he found out was that when he was using his own trailers, so using the cargo market, he was getting much more stutters. So who would have thought stutters could be caused by having a freight market versus cargo market own trailer, right? So right now we are using I think this is a freight market job. Yeah, this is a freight market job, so we're getting minimal stutters. And I'm not sure if this is like all own trailers or only SCS own trailers. But we will test it out. And if you guys have an objective way for me to test it, let me know. Because the guy who was who was testing in the forums, he had a chart which was measuring like the what is the name? There's a metric he was looking at, and you could see the spikes, which meant the stutters were much more frequent when he had an own trailer versus when he had a normal trailer, and everything else was the same, the maps, the setup, the mods. So it was a very compelling argument, and a lot of people were chiming in and giving the same feedback. So what we will do when we get into that low deck variant, we'll do a test drive, right? And we'll try and observe if we are getting more stutters. Yeah, I always used to think that it was caused by maybe map mods or traffic mods, but I never thought that having an own trailer could be a reason. So keep your eyes peeled. try and see if you will notice anything, and let me know if you find it out, okay? If you find out anything. And if you know a way of measuring stutters, then let me know so we can do that more objectively. But that's something that we might be able to raise to SES. And if you can, that's going to be amazing. Because, I mean, SES could do with all that help. I mean, they would only know if we complain loud enough, constructively enough, you know. It's not complaining for complaining's sake, but it's so that it would be brought to their attention, because they have proven that they do listen. And if there's an issue that is serious enough and many people care for it, then they will listen, most likely. They've done that in the past, so it's like people power. And it's amazing. It's an amazing tool. So let's go and test. That's my call to action with you guys. If you take anything out of this episode, it's that. Go and test it out. Keep everything the same. Even if possible, drive the same route. Just take a freight market, measure the stutters, take a cargo market job with your own trailer, measure the stutters, and see the results. Yeah, let's check if that will really give a different picture. Because I have a feeling it is true. Because I've noticed, the stutters have lessened a lot since the past few episodes, and mainly I've been doing freight market jobs, because I wanted to try out if Traffic Maniacs mods have added some trailers to the jobs, and I think it has, maybe. I'm not so sure, but that's what I was trying to test, so I was not using any of my own trailers. And that might be a big factor right there. Set the sky pass. Thank you. And that never occurred to me before, so that's quite interesting. So let me know. I'm looking forward to what you have to say and what you can find out, okay? Let's work on it together. People power. This is what you call crowdsourcing. It's amazing, an amazing thing. Alright. What else do I have? In terms of... the Pink Charity event. So you might have seen already the VOD, the stream footage from when we did that in ETS2. But depending on when you will watch this, I think you'll be watching this... It might be too late when you watch this. We might have done... Because I'm planning to do... I did an ETS2 stream to support the Pink Charity event, to support breast cancer awareness and the foundations. I streamed ETS2 Wednesday, and then I'm planning to stream ATS Friday. But by the time this video is released, I think it's Friday night already, my time, and I'm streaming Friday morning. So just wait for it. For those who are waiting for ATS videos, it will be coming, because there's an ATS stream footage coming real soon to you, like the next day, if you're watching this as it goes out. But man, can I just enjoy the scenery for a bit? I remember I mentioned that my favorite DLC is somewhere in between France and Italy, the map DLCs. But yeah, let me just take some time to appreciate as well the beauty of these Baltic states, the beauty of Finland. And to be fair, I'm not sure if this is Pro Mods or SES, but I have a feeling it's SES. I have a feeling it's SES. It's a bit like, it's very refined. Like, if I were to describe it, if it's an SES scenery, it's more on the refined side, more on the safe side, very scenic and safe. Pro Mods is more like scenic and adventurous, scenic and playful. You know, Pro Mods has that impression on me. So they're more like willing to take risks and more willing to like put more details and add more unorthodox stuff. I'm not sure if you can get that. If you get my point there, it's not too descriptive, but yeah. Anyway, let me take some screenshots here later. I think I can do like that, or maybe this one, yeah, this bridge. But man, this is silky smooth, isn't it? This is silky smooth performance we have here. Goodness, this is amazing optimization on all ends, on the truck, on the map, on the graphics mods. And if you are wondering about my graphics settings, you might have seen that video already, but I always refer people there. My quote-unquote secret to realistic graphics. Watch it. Just Google it or search it in YouTube. Clumsy graphics or Clumsy realistic graphics ETS2 or something like that. Something along those lines. Anyway, other than that, any ideas for the upcoming videos? Let me know. Looking forward to your suggestions. And I think that's it from ATS side. I don't have many updates, unfortunately. Not a lot of things happening on ATS at the moment. I know a lot of people have been waiting for ATS videos, but not much updates in terms of the mods. So the only hope we have for now is waiting for Utah, which I think should be very close. But I have no news, to be honest. I'm not privy to any insider info from SCS or anything like that. I'm not part of the big boys club, so I just get news as fast as you guys do. Sometimes, oftentimes, even slower. Anyway, so let's have a look. How long do we have? 190. Okay, we can do some questions. We can go and do some Q&As. Ideally, I'd like to preserve the Q&As for the long haul trip, but we can do some now. This is a very interesting, I don't know, statue, monument in the roundabout. Like a random pillar. Looks like something Mario would come out of, or Luigi. There was someone who commented in the YouTube, in one of the videos. He was saying, oh, say this. I'm not sure if he was thinking it was Italian or something because of my accent. Because he commented, say this, and then he asked me to say, it's me, Mario. I know I nailed that, alright. But yeah, that's for you. Alright, let's proceed with the Q&A. Enough of that foolishness. Have you, this is still a set of questions from Jay. Have you ever tinkered or tried to fix a vehicle with your own hands? Obviously with some help from book, video, or manual. If not, would you ever give a try sometime? Yes, actually. So back during my day, I feel so old. Maybe, I don't know, let's see. Maybe around 10 to 15 years ago when I first started driving. The internet was not yet well developed, so you didn't Google everything for everything yet. And so we were more or less like still kept in the dark about some things. So when I started driving, the only source of information I had on how to drive was my dad. My dad taught us how to drive, and the driving school. But driving schools teach you how to drive, they don't teach you how to fix your car, right? So you know how to drive, even manual, but if something gets broken, then you're screwed. My dad tried to orient me on some of that stuff. Whenever our car broke down, he would call me and he would ask me to be there so that I would be a little bit involved in what was happening. So I have a very rough idea on what goes where, very basic stuff, nothing fancy. And I did have a time when I fixed, quote unquote fixed our own car, because we had a couple of cars through the years. There was this one car, I think I told this story already, the Land Rover Discovery, but not the newer model. It was a second-hand car. It was not in the best condition, I think, because it was overheating like heck. I guess, I don't know, the radiator must have not been working properly or something. There was a leak or something. There was probably a leak. That's probably the most obvious reason, because so we put water. I think, what do you normally put? Coolant or water? Water I think works, but maybe coolant is better. But we put water. So the water we put in the radiator disappeared. Oh, look at that. FS 2020 hype. GA plane right there. So the water in the radiator, well, what happened was while I was driving, while anyone was driving that car, after a while you would notice that in your dashboard you have these temperatures, right? Like, let's see, in here you have the engine temperature, one of those in the lower left. That would go hot. Like, normally it should be somewhere in the middle always, but it would go beyond that. It would go near the red zone, so you would know that something was wrong. And good thing that we noticed it. But then, okay, so we pull over, and then we noticed, oh, what the heck is happening? One sec before we continue. This is a very beautiful sight. I'm thinking if this is good for photo. I think it's nice, but I think the one a while ago is nicer. The one with the bridge, of course. Me being biased towards bridges. Anyway, so the car, the SUV would overheat. There's that plane again. And we would stop over and we would check, and we would open the was it the radiator? What is that to call it? I don't even know what it's called, but this like tube near the end of the hood, near the front of the hood, or bonnet if you're from the UK. I noticed we have a lot of folks from the UK. Thank you guys for watching. So yeah, bonnet for you. So it was that tube near the front of the car, near the end of the bonnet or beginning, depending on where you start. And it had this like lid. And that lid, you should be careful opening it when the engine is hot, because like the liquid inside could spout up. So you had to have like I don't know, some gloves or some some cloth to cover the lid and put some pressure, make sure it doesn't explode up. But yeah, the water inside that was disappearing after some time. So after we discovered that there was a problem, we didn't go to the mechanic quickly. We were kind of hoping that it would go away on its own. But what we had to do was, yes, that's why I say fix with air quotes, because it was not really fixing it. It was like more like first aid, or feeding the fire, or however you want to call it. But we basically carried around like jugs of water in the car. So whenever the SUV heated up, we would pull over to the side of the road, and we would be refilling it, and then it would be okay after a while. Goodness, and we got into so much stress with that vehicle, with that SUV. And that was not its only sickness. It was sick for so many reasons. It was a very unhealthy car, and we eventually decided to get rid of it. And goodness, the joy we felt after we got rid of it. But yeah, aside from that, fixing stuff, I learned the hard way how to replace a tire car. That's, I guess, the most repairs I've done. So like finding a spot for the jack, lifting it, using the, what do you call that, cross T-shaped, not T, but like a cross wrench, cross something, you know, the cross implement tool that was like a cross, and it had like different sockets at the end depending on the size of the bolt that you were trying to unlock, or lock for that matter. So the one you use for the tires. So I learned how to use that, how to untie a bolt, or how do you even call that term, and replace the tire. Because I had a car, the one I was mentioning before, the Honda Civic SIR, an orange one, Passion Orange is the official color name. And we didn't know that you had to replace your tires every 10 years. So at some point, the car was getting very wobbly. Like, okay, like example, this is the car. The steering wheel would be like that. And I would be like, what the heck is happening? And then I would just hold firmly, more firmly, you know? I would just hold more firmly so that it wouldn't shake. And eventually it would stabilize, you know? But I was thinking like, okay, maybe it's just not in the mood or something. You can see we have this pattern of not taking care of our cars very well. We did not go to the mechanic immediately. It's like, yeah, we were not very preemptive. It was not a good habit. So I just kept at that, and the vibrations like that were getting more and more intense until at some point the tires, well, one of the tires actually blew out, and I had to replace it. We didn't learn immediately from that. We thought it was like, oh, it was just a bad tire. Okay, so we replaced that tire and we're good. Because I remember there was another instance where one of the other tires blew off, and it makes sense because if all 4 of them are 10 years old, then it's only a matter of time until all of them give out, right? But yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, as they say. It's easy to analyze if things have passed already, but when you're in the moment, it's a bit harder. So yeah, now I realize that, but back then, it didn't really occur to me. So yeah, I had to replace my tires every so often, and thank goodness we didn't get into accidents during that time. The tires blew out, but I mean, in Manila it's traffic anyway, so we're not driving at a very fast speed, so it was not a problem pulling over and stopping. It was still stressful as heck though, but yeah, thank goodness we were safe. And there was one point when this tire blew off that it was the middle of the night, like I was working already then, and there used to be a time when I was working like the afternoon shift. So my work would start at 3 p.m. I would end work at 12 midnight, and I would go home. And the tire decided to blow up when I was going home, so it was midnight. And it decided to blow up in this like, it was like a main road, but it was not very, how do you say, it was not very lit. I'm not sure if anyone has ever been to the Philippines. And if you go to a different country, like a more developed country like Singapore or the US, I only realized this when I did that comparison. Apparently in the Philippines, it's very dark at night because the lights are not as strong. The night lights, the city lights, street lights are not as strong. So it's very dark at night. And in that particular street, it was even more so. And there were like some, like, how do you call it, squatters? Some people living maybe illegally on the side of the road, something like that. So like some kind of slums. So I was pretty scared. Like, okay, I'm all like vulnerable here out in the open, and anyone could come up to me and do anything or something. Hopefully not. And someone did come up to me then, but they were actually very nice people. They even helped me. They even helped me with replacing the tire. So I was very lucky. Yeah, and I was very fortunate to have met decent people instead of the opposite. Look at that, there are actually people walking. I don't see that often in SES cities. We are here in Varkaus. Finally. Well, that was actually a very quick trip, huh? Didn't realize it was going to be so short. But I'm excited to turn this in because it's going to be one of the longest drives I've ever done in this game, I think. Let's see how long it took. And let's see how big the payout will be. 25 hours to go. No problemo. Okay, let's park this thing and get our money. So yeah, I had a couple of interesting mishaps, learnings, as you could say, while driving. And I'm sure you guys have too. If you do, feel free to also share it in the comments or maybe during one of the streams. It would be amazing to trade funky stories. And I'm sure you guys have more because you guys drive faster, more highways. So it's probably a lot more exciting than just being stuck in traffic for like 4 hours or something. Here we go. time to reap it in. 3,446 kilometers. Wow. 135,000 euros for one trip. Imagine earning that in one trip in real life. Goodness. Wow. Can I be a truck driver? Now that is amazing. And now we are level 50. Phew. Now we are a legend, guys. Congrats. It's a huge milestone. You should celebrate this. Wowzers. Alright. So thank you guys for being with me on this momentous occasion. We finished it. No damage whatsoever. 0% damage on the cargo. We reaped all the rewards. And I am very happy with that. Hope you guys are too. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to the next episode where we go on a low deck variant. And remember, if you want to see the behind the scenes, the config, the other raw stuff, feel free to join us over at Patreon or in Twitch subscriber. Right? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy trucking, everybody. Catch you in the next one. Honk honk. I'm not going to honk anymore because it's too loud. Thanks and bye-bye.